The other day, I heard something so interesting that stayed with me. It went like this. What you do with your life is only one half of the equation. It's who you choose to do it with or share your life with that makes up the other half. And I got to thinking about that. You know what it's like in life. We're driven by careers, success, goals, independence. You just have to listen to those children that are about to finish school, and all they're talking about is what they're going to be, what their goals are. And yes, that's important in life. Of course it is. But you've got to be careful not to use that independence, those goals, those successes, those careers as a shield from the rest of the world. So what am I talking about? Let's go back to children again. I always say, we learn our lessons from them. So children have to go through milestones in life. And as parents, caregivers, and teachers, we're there along the way to encourage them, to reward them, to see those successes, to make them feel good about themselves. And that's how they grow and they progress. And likewise, when they fall and bruise their knee, when they do something that's not quite correct, or something is unhappy in their lives, we're there to comfort them. We're there to help pick up the pieces. So you can see that from early on, there's somebody in our life next to us, forming the other part of us. Now, in a life that rewards self-sufficiency, there's no wonder that people might feel that looking for somebody to share their life with or to share their successes or failures with is a sign of weakness. But it's not. It's not at all. I've watched my own children grow up and move into their adult world. I've heard them say, "Mom, we've got it all worked out. We don't need you anymore. We will be able to do it by ourselves. We're independent now. We have our own goals, our own lives, our own successes." Yeah, and you sit back as a parent sometimes and you think to yourself, I spent my entire life trying to make these children successful and independent and worthy of being in that adult world. And then when they do step into it, it's almost like there's a void for a moment in time. But here's the thing. With each one of them, I allowed them to fly. But interestingly, in their own time and with my patience in waiting, they all came back. Not because they needed me to tell them what to do, but because they needed companionship. They needed accolades. They needed a safe spot sometimes to unburden. It's interesting. And that's not only in parenting that we find that. We find that amongst friends as well. You know, everybody needs somebody who's going to be there on the days when there's failures and there's burdens. Not to sit in judgment, but to sit and listen. Everybody needs that somebody who's going to rejoice in their successes, not compete with them and be jealous. And everybody needs somebody who's going to be there when they fall to pieces, when life feels so hard, not to fix them the way they want to, but to patiently be there as support, to be there on call, to help. We as human beings are not wired to be alone. That's so true with the example that I've already given you of small children. Why would we suddenly want to be isolated in the world? Because isolation knows no comfort. And that's what we need as adults. That's what we need as anybody, not just children. And there's no weakness in that. There's no weakness in sharing your life with somebody. There's no weakness in reaching out. In fact, that's a strength. That's a strength. And sharing your life with others is a blessing. I'm so privileged when people share their lives with me. I'm so privileged when people reach out to me and ask for assistance. So I think the message that I'm trying to give to you today is the following. What you do with your life is the one half of the equation. But please, balance that equation and choose to have somebody or more than one person in your life with whom you can share your life. Somebody or people that you choose to include in your life. Because then, and only then, will you have balanced the equation of life. It's been such a pleasure to share this pause with you today. Remember, your voice matters. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell for the next tea adjournment.